Hello, welcome back. Welcome to this channel. I very much appreciate you tuning in. Today, as in the past, we're using the booklet Kamatthana, and today we're on page 29. The last pages, 27 and 28, we talked about the laws of constant change, the dukkha or impermanence, instability of all things that have been created, and the concept of non-self. At the top of page 29, there is a quotations from the Buddha that tells us the kind of sankharas, the kind of thinking. If we have these kinds of thinking, we have not yet understood the Buddha's pure Dhamma. The first one is, I have a self. I do not have a self. I perceive a self by way of self. I perceive non-self by way of self. I perceive the self by way of non-self. My self is permanent, stable, eternal, unchanging. It is what experiences karma and the six senses. These are all unfit for reflection. So the tendency right away is, well, what does that mean? How come? I don't understand. Surely one of those statements is true. And the last sentence reminds us, just drop it. These are all unfit for reflection. None of them are true. This is the teaching of the Dhamma. So don't get tripped out. Don't start proliferating, imagining, fantasizing how or why these are true or untrue. It's not easy, but we are challenged to let it go. Things unfit for reflection cause the unarisen taints of sensual lust, becoming, and ignorance to arise, and arisen taints to increase. So that's now the confirmation, the supporting idea that if we insist on contemplating things that are not wholesome, they don't lead to our own liberation, then not only is it not helpful, it can be harmful. It says the unarisen taints of sensual lust, that's a craving or wanting or wishing or expecting, etc., becoming, and ignorance to arise. So I can't explain it any more clearly than that. I'm willing at least to do my best to not get sucked into this impulse, this craving to research mentally and emotionally things that are not conducive to liberation. Sunatta, all things are void of self, selflessness of the universe. I mentioned that, I believe, recently in a previous posting. A Zen Buddhist monk once asked his master, does a dog have Buddha nature? And it's a famous Zen story many of you may have heard. And the master said, moo. And moo has no meaning. It's a meaningless sound. It's not a word, it's not a vocabulary, it's not part of the Japanese language. And the general explanation for why that answer was appropriate is don't even think about it. What difference does it make? How can it possibly change your life if a dog has Buddha nature, or God has Buddha nature, or angels have Buddha nature, spiders, or any other form of creation? Does it have Buddha nature? How is that helpful? And in this statement, it says it's not helpful, and it's simply not true to think about there being someone somewhere else. Okay, now we're about to leave the anicca, dukkha, and anatta portions of the booklet, and now we're in samadhi. It sounds like samadhi, and I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it correctly, so please forgive me. Anyway, it's defined as conventional reality, convention, relative truth, supposition, including doubts and questions, anything conjured up by the mind. Well, let's start with that last phrase, anything conjured up by the mind. Pali word is sankhara. So this group of teachings is in support to the ones above, 6 wrong views. If you're thinking about it, it's not reality. It's just a thought. Thoughts arise and pass away. They're they are expressions of anicca, dukkha, and they often have the purpose of making us feel like a person. So conventional reality is what we call the secular world. The world we're born into, where we believe we're born from a mother and a father, etc. We have a birth date, we have siblings or not, and so on and so on. All of the identities that we assume in the conventional world, the secular world, they're all unreliable. They're relatively true, but they're not absolutely true. Relative truth has a dukkha embedded in it. The intensity of dukkha corresponds to the realm of existence. So, 2 things there. Anything that is created in the universe, and I'm using the word universe to mean anything that is. Astronomers and philosophers, etc., are postulating black holes and wormholes and parallel universes, etc. I don't know anything about those sciences. My definition of the universe is if it exists, then it's part of the universe in whatever form it may exist. And if it exists, it has some suffering embedded in it. And that suffering is anicca and dukkha. That is unstable, it's unreliable, it's not a place where we should build our home. There's learned in, what was it called, Sunday school, build a little song we used to sing, build your house on a strong foundation. So in the world, there's no such thing as a strong foundation that is not subject to change, that is not precarious in some way. And I'm not talking about a physical house, But in reference to those, recently there have been these mudslides after rainstorms. There have been a lot of floods, wildfires, all in America, and people's physical homes have been destroyed. The place we live is in our mind. That's our only home, regardless of where we happen to be at any moment. So if we're going to build a secure home, that is a truthful, loving and compassionate place to live, it will have to be in the pure Dhamma and not it should not include the values of the secular world or the goals that we are taught in the secular world. So it says the intensity of dukkha corresponds to the realm of existence. And previously we talked about the three realms. The hell realm, which is any being in hell, and including ghosts and animals, and the human realm, and then the heavenly realms. But again, it would be a mistake to think of these as a place. They are not a place, they are a mental condition. And actually, they are a condition that the mind may visit multiple times a day. Every time we're angry, we're in hell. Every time we're disappointed and frustrated and vengeful and spiteful and malicious and gossiping, etc., we're in hell. We're destroying our own happiness. And every time we're kind and generous and thoughtful, forbearing, forgiving, we're in heaven. So we vacillate or we travel from hell to heaven and through a mixture of them, which we can call the human realm, countless times in a day. So we don't have to wait to die to go to heaven. We can live there now if we purify the mind. A purified mind can be called heaven on earth. In the Christian's Lord Prayer, it says, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." In other words, there won't be a distinction. The mind will be purified in such a way that it's constantly dwelling in a heavenly abode. Delusions form the essence of the conventional world or conventional reality. The biggest of all delusions, this I will be repeating countless times, is the delusion of self. Once we imagine to be a self, then a suffering is inevitable. It is inevitable, but it's not inescapable. And this delusion, the whole secular world is built on the delusion that everybody is an individual self. Delusion pervades the mind like an insidious poison, contaminating our perceptions and distorting the truth. So again, this delusion called moha is the delusion of self. And everything we think and say and do arises out of this sense of self. So it has to be by nature the lack of truth, the lack of pure nibbana. There may be some elements of nibbana or Dhamma teachings being manifest through us as we still consider ourselves a person, but the fundamental, the foundation, the basis of our life arises out of a sense of being a person. And as long as that is true, we are distorting the truth. We are poisoning and contaminating our perceptions. And what does that mean? Well, a good example is when we see, we don't just see. And when we hear, we don't just hear. And through all 6 of the senses, we have a reaction to everything that arises in consciousness through the 6 senses. And the reactions are characterized by liking them, hating them, or not liking them, or just being neutral. And this then colors the event with our opinion. Now the event is what we imagine it to be, a good event, a not good event, or a neutral event. So our memory is never the memory of the truth or just the event. It's always coupled with some emotions. In fact, the barcode that is our memory is the barcode of the sensations on the body and the emotions that we had during the moment of that event, and it's never a pure memory. It's always colored by delusion of self, that thing, that event happened to me. This is a kind of short page, I guess. I want to read the last sentence one more time. It's so powerful. Delusion pervades the mind like an insidious poison. It's killing our possibility of being fully liberated, fully at peace, and equanimous, of insidious poison contaminating our perceptions and distorting the truth. As long as we have a sense of self, we are distorting our perceptions of every moment, and we're unable, it is impossible for us to see the truth as it is, because we've already colored our experience with our opinion of what just happened. Okay, I am going to end the day on page 29. I'm very grateful if you've made it to the end of this talk. I hope you'll consider supporting the channel, and we'll hope that others can come in contact with it and also be blessed by Lord Buddha's pure Dhamma. Thank you very much.